everybody, my name is MetalMusicMan.
And I'm Professor Lex.
And this is episode 79 of the Metal and Lex podcast. It's been 3 weeks.
That sounds right. It sounds wrong.
Been 3 weeks.
We should do better. Do better, us.
I don't know. I've been kind of enjoying the pseudo monthly nature just because.
Sure. Less editing.
It doesn't feel like a burden. The editing is not so bad. It's more like just the thought of sitting down and going through it. And,
yeah, talking to me for an hour. I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's the worst. No, I don't know. You don't get fellow listeners, humans, you don't get like the anxiety of repetitious activities.
Yeah, all of our listeners have probably never done the same thing twice. like for me, there are certain activities that doesn't bother me. Like if I just play, I'll use World of Warcraft as an example. If I play World of Warcraft every single day for 4 hours in a week, I'll just be like, oh man, I played some WoW this week. What a good week it was. But if I put like on my calendar, like Tuesday is the night when you do the World of Warcraft raid for 3 hours, I'll be like, no, I don't want it. That's a whole, like if I just got onto WoW and I raided for 3 hours randomly, I'd be like, hell yeah, life is good. But if it's on my calendar and I have to like be there at a certain time, yeah. That's the thing about like this or like Dungeons and Dragons, like my D&D group. You can't.
I'm playing tomorrow. I'm playing on Saturday. We haven't played in like fuck, dude. I don't even know.
I'm playing tomorrow. Not in your group.
Not in my group. Why aren't we? We got to do like a whole conglomerate
crossover.
Yeah, D&D group at some point. We got to do a whole thing. But no, like the whole thing about it being like a regular schedule activity is what drives me nuts. I don't know what kind of condition that is. But Lex and I decided earlier that I am a clinically diagnosed fucking asshole.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah, like I'm not a sociopath, I'm not a psychopath, I'm not autistic.
Nope.
I'm not a narcissist.
None of these things.
But clinically, I meet all the criteria of being a fucking asshole.
We looked at the DSM-V and we looked through all of the different conditions, and he fits 9 out of 9 of the criteria.
9 out of 9 of fucking asshole criteria. God, what a life we live. So anyway, Alex and I did a thing. I don't know if this is ever going to happen, but I'm just going to let you listeners in. This is the special content for our Patreon supporters.
Shit! Oh, this is for the Patreon Plus supporters.
The Patreon Plus. If you
the OnlyFans.
If you give us $10 a month, I'll send you a picture of my right testicle.
The right one?
And my left butt cheek. So
you can mix and match if you pay more.
Yeah, so sign up to our Patreon,
patreon.com/Professor Lex and MetalMusicMan and
/ my
particularly testicles. Will's testicles.
Yeah, no, that is the whole URL. Actually, yes, 100%. Professor Lex and MetalMusicMan, particularly Will's testicles. That's the whole.
That's the one.
That's the whole one.
That's the.
I'm gonna
URL.
buy that on a .gov domain. I'm really excited about it. Anyway, Alex and I made a pizza tonight. It was a barbecued salmon pizza.
Yes,
which was odd and delicious.
It was delicious. If you're afraid of putting salmon on pizza, you're a coward.
I can drink to that. And in fact, I will. I could drink to anything, but I will drink to that. We're drinking Guinness tonight, kids.
Yes, that's smooth.
I had a thought.
That mouthfeel.
Yeah, God, it's so good. I had a thought today, and it was if I was stranded on an island and could only have like one infinite supply of beer, it would absolutely be Guinness.
What else? And then you would take all of the cans and then make a raft and then sail away.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
You could sail back to your unlimited beer.
Yes, I would. When I got back, I would do a media tour, and I would write a book, and I would have a documentary made about me, and Tom Hanks would play me in a movie. And
you want Tom Hanks?
Absolutely. He was on Castaway. Who could be better? Who could be better? Who could be better than Tom?
Oh, you're right. No, he's been in it. He's method acted.
Tom Hanks could play fucking Mahershala Ali in a movie. I don't think so. Okay, that's how fucking good. I think he would be
missing a particular gravitas.
That's how fucking good Tom Hanks is. All right. I don't want to hear it.
I don't know who I'd want to play me.
You ruminate on that. Anyway, I would drink Guinness, and then after I made all the money from living on an island and making documentaries and books, and I monetized my struggle on my Strife. I would take that money and I would get like a yacht and I would sail back to the Infinite Guinness Island, and then I would live there anyway.
Yeah, and be happy.
What the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, so
the pizza.
Gouda is a topping. Is that what you're trying to talk about?
It's the Patreon extra.
Oh yeah.
So the Patreon extra while we were making the pizza. So if you guys, any of our well endowed.
Are we talking about
any of you who have
listeners
an endowment
with huge dicks?
Yeah, listeners with huge dicks. So anyway, any of you who have trust funds out there and want to donate
there we go.
to our cause, your endowment.
Trust funds or huge dicks. Your endowment.
You could donate your dick to our cause. That would be good too. We can make some porn. You can make a lot of money off of that. But anyway, if you donate your dick to our cause, you will get to listen in on going forward. I was thinking to Alex, I was like, dude, when we were making the pizza, we were talking about life. We were talking about mental health, all these different topics. I was like, Alex, this could be the podcast right now. We could have lavalier mics and we could just be talking while we make pizza.
We could be cavalierly talking. On
How good would that
mics.
be? So yeah, who wants to send us like $1,000 to do that?
Venmo me.
Where's A2 at? A2, come get in here, buddy.
Welcome to the Metal and Lex podcast.
Give us some
brought
money.
to you in part by
Alexander II. Andrew. Not Alexander. You're Alexander. Damn it. Yeah. Brought to you by Andrew II. I forgot what his name was. Isn't that weird?
It's A2.
It's LSX Andrew.
When you say his name, do you think of a penguin? I think he changed his Twitter avatar the other day.
Why would I think of a penguin?
Because he's got that like 6 pixels worth of DDD is his Twitter.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, that's what I think. Anytime I say A2, I see the picture.
I mostly think of just Gordo when I think of him. I think of Gordo. I think of Gordo, and I think of repression. Those are the two things I think of.
He was gonna. You haven't played Nier either, or is this
Nier
the topic?
Automata.
Yeah, Nier. Fucking Nier is
Nier?
so good.
I thought it was Nier.
No, it's Nier. It's
Nier Automata.
Nier Automata.
Okay.
Yeah. Nier's a really good game. I think
I haven't played it. I think I might like it. I think you'd touched it.
You need me to lend it to you?
No, Alex. No one shares video games. What's wrong with you?
I've got the disc.
Shut up, Alex. No one buys physical video games. Shut the fuck up.
Stop gaslighting.
I was just about to check and see if I owned it. I thought that I did, but I don't.
You should own it. It's a good game. Or you can play it on PC.
I'll buy it on my computer because I'm an adult and I don't trade physical copies of games on a PlayStation like a fucking 12-year-old.
Dude, if you keep this horse shit up, keep sandbagging me like this, then I'm gonna make you play Resident Evil. We're about to start a stream. Will thought I came over for Smash Brothers pizza and podcast.
We do need to do that. I can't even deny, based on how hilarious and awful me trying to play Metal Gear on GameCube was. Like, based on that alone, I basically have to give our viewers.
This is what they need. This is what they deserve.
I've got to finish my Let's Play Black Mesa. I think I'm 90% through the game.
I mean, you can do that.
It's like 5 years old.
But
I still haven't finished it.
That's got nothing to do with playing Resident Evil.
All right. I should probably just do a different one. Anyway, give us money so we can get lavalier mics
so we can talk
while we make pizza.
Yep. It'll save us some time.
Give us money.
Save you some time.
Yeah. Anyway, besides just, blatantly begging for dicks and change, we've got some topics today.
Several. Which one do you want to cover first?
Why don't we start with the tournaments, because I think those are a cleaner cut finish.
Oh yeah.
Tournaments exist.
You guys have seen them,
and they were going to be a thing again.
You remember in the before time, not before COVID, but after the first initial wave of COVID, after Delta, and we were like, oh man, maybe life will resume as normal. And
everything's fine.
I went to Chicago for that Marvel tournament. Everyone wore masks. It was a good time. I didn't get COVID. No one got COVID, to the best of my knowledge.
Also, fucking 3 people went because it was a Marvel tournament.
Fuck you. It was Tampa Never Sleep Chicago. I think that the bracket had like 80 some odd people or something.
Oh,
like that.
wow. That's definitely comparable to what we're about to talk about.
Basically the entire Marvel scene.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway.
You had 80 people at a tournament. We're talking about fucking Frosty Faustings. How many people was that supposed to have? 2,000?
Frosty, something like, yeah. So if you guys didn't know, Genesis and Frosty Faustings take place on the same weekend. I was going to go to Frosty Faustings. Will was going to go to Genesis. Genesis is decidedly larger, both in terms of scale and
it's
deep
the largest
pockets.
Smash-only tournament, both in terms of attendees and money, and I think it was like 3,000 or 4,000 people last year. Yeah. I think something like that.
Frosty is still going to be big. Like it's a major, but it's not like.
I don't
Genesis
think it would be more than 2K. I would be surprised if it was even 2K. It's probably 1 to 2.
And that's somewhere. In like a best case scenario.
Yeah.
Like if Omicron wasn't a thing.
It probably isn't even that.
I signed up for that tournament back when things looked like they would be getting more comfortable when I went
before
to that
we knew about
Omicron
Omicron.
Tournament. Yeah.
Shout outs to Omicron Austin, a local.
I was gonna room with him.
A local St. Louis player who's been in various anime scenes and even
He's
early
been
on
Omicron
in the Smash
Austin the
Ultimate
whole
scene.
time.
He's always been. His tag is Omicron Austin. What a time to be alive. That's like being my favorite mixer rye whiskey, Rittenhouse whiskey. It's just like,
oh no.
It's just 2021, 2022 is not a great time to have those names.
No offense, Omicron Austin.
Sorry, Omicron Austin.
So
you're a nice man.
Speaking of, I was going to room with him. There were like 4 of us. We were going to get in my car. We were going to drive down to Chicago abouts, and we were going to go to Frosty Faustings. I was going to play doubles with Raichu. Hey, yes. Raichu, how are you doing?
Hi, Raichu.
I was really looking forward to that, and they've got Marvel 3. I am stoked for Marvel 3. And I was stoked for Skullgirls. I've been grinding Skullgirls and enjoying the shit out of it. Can't fucking go. My dad has cancer. Like, that's just so stupid. Why would I think about going?
How inconsiderate of your dad.
What the fuck, Dad?
What a fucking asshole, dude.
So like now I have to back out. I have to gracefully bow out. I know that Raichu's playing with Saranjo, I think.
Yes, the other Mii Brawler.
Yes. I barely count as a Mii Brawler. I haven't played Mii Brawler in bracket.
My name's Raichu. I only team with Yoshis and Mii Brawlers.
It's true.
I know what I want, and I want what I know.
Will's jealous of
an
you.
An elephant's word is eggs I will throw. Hey, I made it rhyme. There you go. Yeah. I was doing a here's Horton.
Horton here's a who.
Horton here's a who.
There you go.
I was doing that. It was a Horton here's a who.
Fuck
you, Raichu, and your stupid plant. Your stupid
I
Pac-Man.
was so looking forward to a stupid plant and Pac-Man and Sora. We were going to be a menace.
You guys would have been pretty good.
I think we could have done top 8 at
least. The other Alex.
Weeble
Wobs. Yeah. Weeble Wobs and Raichu are real nasty.
Oh, yeah. Quite good.
In dubs. They've got a lot of shit labbed out. So, yeah, you probably would have done really well with them.
I think we would have been good.
At Frosty.
Now, as you guys know, Omicron variant is a thing. So, like, a lot of people are canceling. Most of St. Louis, I think almost all of St. Louis, except maybe like Psycho Shot, who goes by I Mash Buttons now. Almost everyone just isn't going to go to Frosty. To Frosty's credit, they are employing a strategy. You must have proof of vaccination, and you must have a recent negative COVID test. They're going to have at-the-door testing for COVID. So you can come in, get tested, and then the next day enter your tournament and not infect everybody, hopefully. Or, if you've got COVID, they're just going to make you leave. So that's good.
Ideally, yeah.
So, like, that's good. But even then, there's a lot of room for, as many people as would be going, there's a lot of room for false negatives, and I don't know that I'm trying to cheat the devil with my dad's health.
I think the best case scenario you could ever expect for anything is something like what Riptide did, where there were, I think, over 3,000.
That's a lot of people. Yeah,
people at Riptide, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And they had it was less than 0.1%. It was like out of the 3,000, it was like 3 or 4 people or something got COVID.
By numbers, that's really impressive.
Yeah, it's crazy. But once your numbers are that big, it's like basically inevitable.
If 0.1% of your people come in and get COVID and you have 3,000 people, that's 30 guys that are going to go home and make their dads dead.
Wait, did I say 0.01 or 0.1?
I don't know what you said.
I don't know what I said.
And I can't do math.
I must have meant 0.01.
Okay.
Whether or not
even
I said
then, like 3 people.
It was 3 or 4 or 5 people or something. But I think I said 0.01.
I could be doing my math wrong.
Rewind the tapes.
Yeah.
How does math work?
Jeff, play the tapes.
But anyway, even then, it's like, I don't know, being one of those people, especially if you know someone who is immunocompromised.
Yep.
Dude, my mom has COVID right now.
That sucks.
She's got Omicron right now. I just found out like a week ago. We were going to do like a game night.
Oh, my little brother has Omicron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to be fair, apparently Omicron, it's no big deal, quote unquote.
It's no big deal for healthy, double vaccinated, boosted.
Well, and that's the thing.
20-year-old.
Yes. Well, not even. I don't know. That's the thing that I was
therapist.
surprised with my mom is like she was fine. My mom's 72, but my mom is a pretty healthy 72-year-old. Like, I was really worried. I don't know. This sounds like shitty, but I was like more worried about my dad than my mom because like if my dad got it, he'd probably just fucking die.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Like my dad is a lot less healthy than my mom. But like
I've been texting my mom back and forth, and she's like, yeah, I feel kind of like vaguely shitty. I'm just binge watching a lot of Netflix. It's kind of like a normal. So anyway, what I'm getting to is like, while Omicron apparently is a lot less severe, especially, if you are vaccinated or whatever the fuck.
Yep.
It's like, we already thought Delta was like the most insane contagious, and I think Omicron is like even worse.
More contagious.
So when you think about
dangerous.
it on the scale, more contagious but less dangerous. But like when you think about it on the scale of a tournament like that, like the odds of
going home and not being sick.
And it's weird because like when you really think about like all of the shit we've learned from COVID and the tournaments and all of that, it's like, I don't know, man. I've been to a lot of Evos in my day. I think I've been to 6 or 7 or 8 Evos. I don't fucking remember. And it was always just like such a joke. Like you got the Evola virus.
I remember Evola.
Yeah, yes. Like that was always the joke because it was like, there's 6,000 people at Evo. Or
someone's got a cold, everyone's gonna.
Like everybody gets infected, and on the one hand, it's like I almost want to just do things because I just want to do things. But then on the other hand, I don't. Yeah, who doesn't want to do things? But I also I kind of I don't know. I almost hesitate to say this, but like I almost like that about what COVID has done to society.
That everyone's wearing masks now, and
people wear masks. They give a shit. They try to like mitigate, and that's
on average. Yeah.
For me, if I can have like a positive outlook, as much as it sucks to be dealing with a pandemic for 3 fucking years and having to like quarantine and all this shit, even if people aren't quarantining 100%, and they're not, because I live in fucking St. Charles, but like
the Wild West,
even when they're not, like the fact that like people are more regularly wearing masks or are more regularly taking those precautions,
staying
home
when you're sick.
If I can, staying, instead of like going into work, people are more likely now to just be like, hey, fuck you, I'm kind of sick. It's not COVID, but also still fuck you.
Or like, I was near someone who was sick. I'm going to stay home from work. I will work from home now.
As stupid as it is to try to look for silver linings, I do kind of like that.
This
about
is way out of pocket for you.
The pandemic. I know. Look how positive I am. But like, I really do feel that way, man. It's like and I don't think it's great. People are still dumb. People still do too much shit. But like the fact that that's like a more normal.
Yeah, we've
behavior.
normalized wearing masks and taking precautions to reduce.
We've normalized illness. Not.
Yeah,
going to work and doing everything when we feel like shit, or going to tournaments or whatever, you know.
Yeah, don't go to a tournament if you're sick.
Just don't do it.
You just make everyone sick.
That part of it, at least, I can give some like positivity from.
Yeah, props to COVID. Will, famed Thanks, COVID supporter.
Famed. This thing hates the heat. We need a historic heat wave.
Pray for Missouri. To compare and contrast, which was the original point, Frosty Faustings is doing testing on site and requiring proof of not being, patient zero. Genesis, on the other hand, is just delaying until April.
Delaying till my birthday.
They're going to wait. They said, Will, when is your birthday?
Will, when is your birthday? Is it also Easter?
Is it Easter?
It's the 15th. Is that Easter?
I don't know.
It's that weekend. I think Easter's the Sunday.
Usually Easter's the Sunday.
Yeah, that makes sense. But so that's my birthday present to myself is that I go to Genesis and get
your
COVID.
Easter present to yourself.
Yeah, and my Easter present to myself because I love Jesus.
COVID.
I'm excited to go to Genesis. I hope I do decently. I had been in kind of a slump for a while. Like the last turn, the Riptide, I just got fucked on. I hadn't played because of COVID. I've been playing more with like you and Jordan and T-Mac.
We played with Raichu.
We just played with Raichu the other day.
Small bubble. Omicron's real.
Yeah, small bubble. Omicron is real. I've been playing more recently. I still don't go to locals. The regularity, it's weird. I don't know if I'm insane or not, but like the regularity of locals scares me more with regard to COVID stuff than like 2 majors a year. And I know there's like a higher percentage at the major because there's more people there, but it's like a one-time risk. Whereas like when you go to a local, every single time you go to local, even though it's the same 50 or 100 or maybe even only 20 people, depending on what your scene is like, you're getting like re-exposed to all the people in their bubble repeatedly, and you're doing it like every week. So like, I guess what I'm getting at is I still don't want to go to locals, even though I miss them.
Yeah,
I still don't want to do it.
I hang out with Jeff and Susie, and anytime I interact with you, you're not just exposed to me. It's not just me in your bubble. It's Jeff and Susie in your bubble.
It's like that old shitty 1990s
6 Degrees of Kevin
sex
Bacon?
education.
Oh, sorry.
Where they're like, hey, sorry, when it,
Oh yeah, no, it is like that.
When you go to public school religion and the priest is like, hey,
no, just
you're
even
not,
public school.
You're not okay anywhere. When you're in the Midwest,
Yep.
and you're a child, and an adult says you're not just having sex with them, you're having sex with every person they've ever had sex with. And then the really horny ones of us are like, when do I get to have the orgy? But
I don't remember having that guy.
That
in my
sounds kind of fun. Well, none of us said it out loud, Alex. It was just a Mickey
me.
Mouse voice in our heads.
Oh. When you sub-vocalize, is it Mickey Mouse?
No.
Oh.
But sometimes.
Occasionally it's Mickey Mouse. Oh, okay,
sometimes
okay.
it is. Like whenever it's a thing that's really, really terrible, but yeah,
Well,
like when it's really terrible, but
what
that
if you
makes
just
it
push them
like,
off?
Like, let's commit genocide. Like like that.
Don't-
That the more terrible the thing is, like Hitler Mickey Mouse is like the funniest shit. I don't know. Yeah, any kind of evil authoritarian thing you can overlay over Mickey Mouse and then do it in the Mickey Mouse voice is just like the best thing ever. Like, come comrades, for the glory of the USSR. The first person takes the gun. The second person takes the rifle. When the first person dies, pick up his rifle and continue to fight. Fight on, comrades! Ha-ha! Like, how is that not great?
I just need to draw a distinction here because you said Hitler Mickey Mouse and then started talking about Soviet
I changed
Russia.
to Stalin just now. Yeah,
I saw the distinction, but I need I can physically see
Look,
you.
they're all not America.
I need you to say
Alex?
that communism and Nazism are different.
Communism and Nazi are very
I need you to say
yes,
thank you. That's all.
I do understand that.
Okay.
I was just I need everyone to understand that they have to give me a pass if it ever sounds like I think that they are the same. No. This is gonna make a lot of sense.
Okay.
You have to. You're morally obliged to give me a pass if you ever think that that's what I'm saying, because I'm not. And the reason that I'm not, and the reason that you have to give me the pass, is because I played Command & Conquer Red Alert and Red Alert 2 as
Tim
a kid.
Curry is very persuasive.
Which is when they went back in time and killed Hitler, and then Stalin became Hitler.
Okay.
And so sometimes when I make those analogies, they both pop into my head, even though I do understand that in the real history
I give
of
you
the
a
planet
pass.
Earth, that they are not the same thing.
The current history of planet Earth.
The real history of the planet Earth. That's what I said.
From our perspective.
Yes. Oh,
until someone goes back.
Until someone goes to space. Anyway, so oh, dude, did you see my tweet? Jeff the Hero is the one who posted that video on YouTube.
I don't know who Jeff the Hero is.
Jeff the Hero is a Street Fighter 4 player. He's on Twitter.
No shit.
He's really a big troll. He's done a lot of things. I've played him back in the day. I remember playing him one time. I was Oni and he was Cammy, and the way he plays is like the most disrespectful troll playstyle you've ever seen in your life.
DP on your wake up?
No, not even that. Like, he intentionally does like dumb shit. Like, and I don't even like no part of this. Like, I absolutely respect him as a player, as a content creator, as a fighting game community member. No part of this is malicious, but like part of his essence and what he does and how the games make sense and the lens by which, you know, he sees his opponent and views the game through and all that. It's like it just includes trolling. It just does. He's as incapable of not trolling as you are of not down backing.
This wasn't supposed to be a personal attack.
He just can't not do it. And so anyway, that guy, he's existed on Twitter. He makes like ridiculous, all of his videos. It's like, I don't know. He's just like a meme child. He just makes these, he makes like YouTube videos or
you
Twitter,
think the meme's your ally.
Videos of like, where he's like yelling weird things, saying things. It's funny. It's like, I don't know. I'll have to link some things. But anyway, he's been around. Jeff the Hero. Look him up.
Jeff the Hero.
He's a cool guy.
Shout
and anyway,
outs.
I played him in Street Fighter 4. He trolled the shit out of me with Cammy. He like narrowly won in the dumbest way possible, which again is like part of how he exists. And then to his credit, I played him again when Street Fighter 5 came out, like early before I hated Street Fighter 5 because
before you knew better.
Season 1 was kind of okay. Season 1 was not a bad game.
Yeah.
Season 2 was terrible. So it was like sometime in Season 1, I remember I played him and he messaged me and he was like, "Oh, good game. Didn't you play Oni in Street Fighter 4? I think we like played a bunch." And he was like,
"Aren't you that Oni guy?"
He was like super kind and supportive, and then he like followed me on Twitter and he's like super cool. Anyway, he's a nice guy. He's done a lot of different things. Point being, the one video
The one video that I referenced last podcast, the podcast before,
last podcast,
of Tim Curry doing space.
Mm-hmm.
The one video of that on YouTube that's like a 7 or 8 second clip of him just saying that line.
Mm-hmm.
It has 6 million views. That is Jeff the Hero from Street Fighter 4. Clipped it and uploaded it.
Thank you for your service.
Props for playing Red Alert 2, Jeff the Hero. Apparently, I'm missing out on a lot of views on YouTube. I could just clip all of the things that I remember from Red Alert 1 and 2 and upload them. But yeah, I thought that was crazy. I just noticed that the other day. I linked it to someone and I was like, wait a minute, what is that avatar? Why does that look so familiar? I was like, this is fucking Jeff's shit? What the fuck? So anyway, our other point, while we're on the FGC topic and doing things, I think we're done with that one.
Yeah.
Tournaments. I don't know. Tournaments. We're going to go. I'm going to go to Genesis in April, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm not going to go to Frosty Fastings.
Alex is skipping Frosty Fastings because they didn't. That's the cap on that.
That's the whole thought.
Big sad. I don't know.
I'll pour one out.
COVID's dumb. Sucks. Anyway, the other thing is I've been thinking about newcomers and fighting games for newcomers and all that a little bit more because Erica, whose butt I touch, which we talked about.
She's got a name. Podcast. You didn't call her Orange Pants.
I called her Erica last time.
That's true.
We talked about Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I haven't called her strictly Orange Pants for several months now, Alex. Come on, give it the times.
Erica, I know that you're listening. Did Will ever tell you that he used to call you Orange Pants?
I did. I did tell her that.
Okay.
Come on, you know me better than to assume that I wouldn't own up to something as embarrassing and ridiculous. Yeah, come on. Anyway, so I've been fucking around here and there. She took me rock climbing, which is interesting. She's really into rock climbing and is very good at it.
Shout outs to rocks.
I've always, you know what's weird about that is like I've always really been into, I haven't always been, but I've been for the last, I don't know, at least 5 years. I've been tangentially interested. You just made a joke. You're smiling and I didn't hear it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Keep going.
I hate you so much.
This is part of the joke.
I hate you so much. I heard you say a thing and then you
pet rock. I asked if you had a pet rock.
A pet rock.
Yeah.
I never had a fucking
pet rock, Alex. Have a pet rock. That's the joke.
I had a Tamagotchi. Shut up, Alex. Okay, anyway. So, for the last probably 5 or more years, I don't remember, I've been tangentially interested in rock climbing as like I respect it. It's not like a sport I'm personally into, but I really respect it.
You told me about that documentary.
Yes. Other things that I'm into that are like that just don't go with my personality at all. I'm super into World's Strongest Man, which is like fucking 450 pound dudes lifting things, which is the polar opposite of my existence. But I really respect it, like from the same degree that I respect
you gotta
like
lift
fighting
such heavy
games.
things.
Well, there's a lot of...
You see the grind.
Yes. Yeah. And arm wrestling.
Oh, no. I can't fuck with arm wrestling. You've seen the ones where they wrestle the guy and then his arm twists off or whatever?
Nobody really does that if they know what they're doing anymore.
Good.
There are some things I'll talk about. I could do an entire podcast on Devin Larratt. Devin Larratt is like the best
arm wrestler.
Okay, well, he's certainly like top 3 arm wrestlers or top 4.
He's always in the discussion.
Yes, but he's just a really good ambassador, which I really respect. From the perspective
so he represents the brand.
Yeah, of like, well, not just the brand, the whole sport. Mm-hmm. So he's like really good with like new people, teaching new people new things, understanding things. But the coolest thing about, now this is gonna happen. I'm trying to talk about. Anyway, I'm gonna talk about Devin Larratt now for 45 minutes because Devin Larratt is so fucking cool.
Oops.
So the reason Devin Larratt is the coolest arm wrestler, you got a lot of people. You got like Michael Todd,
household name,
fucking like Dennis Sablinkov, fucking Levon Sangavelli, who they're doing a whole new thing. There's like, you've got like older dudes. Anyway, I can't think of his fucking name, the other guys, but there's all these. I'm like tangentially involved in arm wrestling in terms of like watching it from afar, respecting it, understanding an amount of it. I'm a spectator. Okay. Devin Larratt is the shit because he isn't the biggest dude. Like he clearly, like if you look at him, he's fucking like his arms are insane, and they're insane in ways that make no sense. Like when you look at like, there's a lot of like, if you want to watch like later, if you're interested in this, you can watch like one of the best like stupid, dumb, pointless viral videos is like Devin Larratt versus Cather Bjornsson. Do you know Cather Bjornsson?
No.
Okay, now I'm combining World's Strongest Man. Cather Bjornsson is one of the world's strongest men. I think he has won it one time, if memory serves, and he's certainly been in the top 10 for over a decade. You would know him as the second actor to and then permanent actor to play the Mountain in Game of Thrones.
From Game of Thrones.
So he's a big boy. He's very big. He's like 6'9". He fucking probably weighs 450 pounds. So Devin Larratt is like 6'6". He probably weighs like 240, 250. So he's big, but he's not like insane the way like Hafthor is. There's a video of them arm wrestling and Devin is just annihilating him. Okay. And so it's like not even like he doesn't have to try. It's not even like, it's literally not a contest. It would be like if I don't know, arm wrestled you or something. Except if I was good at it might not be. And this is where I'm going.
I see.
So what's really cool, I think, about arm wrestling specifically, and rock climbing, which is where I started on this, is that they are technique / combat sports more than they are strength sports. So World's Strongest Man is really interesting because it is a strength sport. And there is technique, and there's a lot of interesting shit and diversity. And it's really cool to see like the peak of the strength. And what you can do and how technique can influence that. But what's really interesting to me about arm wrestling in particular is that while your strength does enhance your technique, arm wrestling is a sport. I look at it the same way I look at like footsies, and the reason I like Street Fighter more than Skullgirls.
Footsies are different.
Okay. It's more technique. In my opinion, a game like Skullgirls or Marvel, all the games that you like,
and Marvel are a lot more complicated footsies. It takes a lot more technique.
They're more like
to play
weightlifting. They're more like labbing. They're less about interaction with the opponent. And that's not to say that there isn't interaction. I'm not saying that. Come on. Let's not dwell on that. That's not the point of this topic. But as respectfully as I can, the sliders are not the same. I think we can agree on that. Where they may or may not land, fine. But they're not the same. They're different things. And so to me, what's really interesting about arm wrestling is that while it is a strength sport, it is more of a combat / technique, whatever sport,
more
than it is a strength
combos, you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so if, whether you agree with me or not, combos are strength, there is more footsies.
Okay.
Yes. So what's really interesting is like Devin Larratt is like super strong in all these different ways. He has like weird pronation muscles when you look at like his forearm and all this different shit about like the way he works out his arm is like so weird and specifically tailored to that kind of thing that he has like an entire muscle that other people don't have. It looks like a weird egg.
Yeah. Like, keep an eye out for his biceps brachii. That's the trick.
Brachii.
Yeah, it's this right here. See this? Mine isn't a proper egg. It's like a what do you call it?
Is that the one you get from turning? Because that's the pronation muscle. Yeah, that might be the one I'm talking about. Here. That might be the one I'm talking about.
I've got a little robin's egg.
I don't know what it's called, but it's that thing. He's got a couple of those, right? In different weird spaces because the way he works out in ways that just like wouldn't make sense for like a normal bodybuilder to work out. And so he has these like crazy weird muscles. And so anyway,
he's out there supinating.
He is. Yes. Yeah. That's a word they use. Pronation, supination. It's the whole thing. Yeah, absolutely. So, sure.
I'm not going to say that my brother isn't a physical therapist, but he's definitely a physical therapist. And I've heard him say several muscles.
Several words and things. So while there is a huge training aspect to it, which he also excels at, he doesn't do as much like bulk. Some guys are just way more bulk, way more power. He does maybe more training for like the weird muscles, despite being maybe like, I mean, he's still ripped as fuck by like any standard, but like he's way less ripped than like some of the crazy. He's not as big as the mountain. Okay. But he's also got what they call like table sense, which is just like, again, to me is like footsie's experience. He's like the fucking truth god of arm wrestling. Okay. And if you're an old head St. Louis FGC, you know what a fucking compliment I just paid this man.
I have never once beaten Truth God in tournament ever. I have,
but not as much as he's beaten me.
Truth God is so good.
My week I won was versus Truth God.
Oh,
He's
nice.
who I beat when I won the whole.
Oh, he was second
the whole event
that week.
I beat. Yeah.
I know I've won, but it was before your time.
Yeah,
I'm old. Anyway, Truth God is godlike.
To explain, Truth God is the reason he's good is that he doesn't look like he's good.
Oh no, he looks totally unassuming. He comes up with his fucking PlayStation 3 pad, and he's like, "Hey, man."
And even in the game, he doesn't typically look like he's good. I mean, he can do combos, but a lot of time he doesn't. He just does. He will literally beat you with nothing but throw and sweep.
And he'll be right
Yes.
You can play footsies 1,000 different ways, and that's why fighting games are cool. And this isn't even like some drunken master shit. This is a guy who throws a coin and always catches it right. He's like, it's heads, it's tails with 100% accuracy. It's fucking insane.
A very good like fundamental player is what we're getting at. And so yeah, like Devin Townsend does a lot of that shit where like this other dude may be like way stronger, but he'll find like the right angle to like move his arm to where he's not like taking, I don't know, I'm not going to talk about like King's move or any of that shit, whatever. We'll say that for another one. But anyway, he'll like move a certain way and it's basically like almost impossible for them to like pin him, and he'll like wear them out. Mm-hmm. And then understand when they are. He's like, you know,
he
like
can feel it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows when he smells blood in the water.
Is like you can't not see it. Like
he's
when you watch him play. Well, he is, but also if it's better, it depends on the opponent. That's what I think is.
He adapts.
He's versatile.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, that's really awesome. And what I'm getting to, if I can get back to the original reason why we pulled this up about rock climbing shit, is there's a lot of similar shit with that in like rock climbing that I have been interested in, where I've known like certain people who do rock climbing and they're good at it, but I've never really done it. And so anyway, Erica rock climbs. She's real fucking solid. And we had watched like, if you guys out there listening to this have not, like, seriously, like, I know this sounds like just some stupid bullshit that I'm talking about, but like, if you have not watched the documentary Free Solo, this includes you, Alex.
And I haven't.
Just the next time you watch anything, whatever it is, bump that shit to the side and watch Free Solo. It is a documentary about Alex Honnold, who is a professional climber, and he, with no exaggeration, did perhaps one of the most insane and impressive feats that any human in the history of human civilization has ever done. He climbed El Cap in Yosemite. Fuck, no, not Yosemite. Is it Yosemite? Fuck, what's it in? What are the national parks?
Yosemite.
Yellowstone. Yellowstone
Park.
Okay, I'm stupid. In Yellowstone. I think it's in Yellowstone. Fuck, now I'm confusing. I think it's got to be Yellowstone.
The documentary.
It's got to be Yellowstone. Yeah. Anyway, he climbed this thing with no support, no safety, no harness, nothing.
Insanity.
But he's not insane.
No.
Because he literally labbed it so much that he couldn't fuck it up.
That was his B&B. He never fucks it up?
No. Like, not like a crazy person. I feel like I've talked about this on this podcast already. I probably have, but it's okay. So not like a crazy person who just goes up there and they're like, oh, like, I'm good. I'm going to do some shit. And like, no, like he literally went like with ropes, with the proper protection. He went to like every section and he just did the combo 10,000 times in a row.
He practiced rock climbing from the left and from the right.
Yeah. And when he fucked up one time and fell off, he did it 10 more times.
Yeah.
This is the fighting game analogy. He literally did that so much that he just couldn't fuck it up. And then he just did it. It's insane. It's fucking insane. It's one of the craziest things anyone's ever done. So rock climbing is really cool. I went rock climbing with Erica last week, the week before, I forget.
2 weeks.
I did like the baby shit, the lowest level shit you could do. I actually thought the lowest level shit was gonna like fuck me up. And it really didn't. It was fine, which I mean is baby shit, but like, you know, a lot of times you show somebody something and you give them the baby shit and they can't even like do the baby shit.
Yeah.
And I really thought that was where I was gonna be. I thought I was gonna be like, oh, I can't even climb this rock, but I climbed 3 rocks.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. Well, 2 I did 2 full rocks and then I like did one that was out of my breath and failed on it several times, but got like.
Oh, but you went to the point of failure.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought I wasn't even going to be able to do the baby shit. I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to like get halfway through the baby shit or whatever. I mean, it wasn't like it was like a 5-7 if you know anything about rock climbing, which I'm told is the lowest adult level. So I guess there was like kid shit I could have actually done that would have been easy. But I really thought that was gonna fuck me up and it didn't. So anyway, what I'm getting to is then I was like, all right, well, let's fucking play some fighting games, motherfucker. So I played some fighting games with her.
Equivalent exchange, yeah.
And it got me thinking a lot about 45 minutes later, the topic emerges. It got me thinking about new players, how best you should approach kind of like introducing them to the genre. Games, controllers, techniques, the whole breadth. And for the longest time, my go-to has been, and still was in this instance, Street Fighter 2. Because it's the most core basic fighting game you can really have.
Sure.
And
without it being like a weird reductionist, minimalist, like dive kick is simpler, but
correct.
Yeah.
But dive kick is yes. Everything you said was perfect. Yeah. Flawless. Well
Thank
said.
You.
So yeah, I was like, okay, cool, Street Fighter 2. So I showed her some Street Fighter 2. And I usually do Guile and Ryu. And I had showed her Guile and Ryu like a long time ago. And she seemed to have like more issues with Ryu than Guile. So I was like, we're just going to focus on Guile this time, which I feel like everybody falls. Like for me, it's like you show them Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter 4 if they have a little bit more experience. But like you show them Guile, you show them Ryu. Mm-hmm. And they're going to gravitate towards one or the other, and then you work from there.
Because the inputs are naturally going to make more sense.
Some people just don't get charge inputs.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it's fine, but I don't get it. Because to me, that is like
because I'm the other way.
It is so straightforward. It is so much more simple. I mean, I don't have a problem with normal inputs. Don't get me wrong. Same. But yeah, like for my money, it's way simpler. But yeah, some people just, they don't have a problem doing Hadouken, but like, holy shit, doing a Sonic Boom or Flash Kick is like super fucking hard. So anyway, I always start at one of those 2 points. I kind of show them some basics. So the first thing I want to talk about is the controller, and we're going to fast forward to the future where I didn't think about this because, so like Erica had not played and hasn't played nearly as many games as like most people. She's only been like gaming for like a few years. She didn't like get into it as a kid the way like a lot of us did. Mm-hmm. So most people when they play, they have this core understanding of an existing controller. Maybe it's like a Nintendo controller from Super Nintendo. Maybe it's a fucking PlayStation 2 controller. Maybe it was Xbox
controller.
Maybe it's all the above. But like most people have some kind of like, if they play it on like consoles, you know, assuming they're not a PC gamer and they just use mouse and keyboard or whatever.
But even if they do use mouse and keyboard, that
does lend to a place. Exactly. So I had showed her I showed her like, I have a Hori controller, I have a PlayStation controller, and then I have
the Hori Fight Pad, you mean?
The Hori Fight Pad. Yep. Hori Fight Pad, PlayStation 4 controller. And then I know she uses like the Pro controller for her Switch. And then I have like a normal stick. Mm-hmm.
But not a hitbox. You didn't let her try on the snack box?
Alex.
I'm sorry. Alex, you go ahead. I'll be quiet.
Alex, you're spoiling the adventure.
I'm so sorry.
You're spoiling the adventure, Alex.
I'm sorry.
So I showed her all those because I'm like, yeah, hitboxes are like, you know, advanced because they are.
Sure. When you can do wizard shit on a hitbox.
When you have one of those other things. And yeah, fast forward to what Alex just spoiled. What I didn't realize is like, I think we played for like an hour and a half fucking around with other controllers before I even thought to try the hitbox. Because for me, it is an advanced controller that did come after those other ones. But like, first of all, hitboxes are objectively better than everything. Everybody knows this. But if you have no knowledge, the hitbox is actually not bad at all. Yeah. And the hitbox ended up being the easiest thing.
I am surprised by that. That is an interesting thing to me. I do think that we should take a second to show our work because everyone knows what a PS4 controller is, but I know for a fact that Jeff and Susie, who listen, probably don't know the rest of the things.
Okay, so pads are pads, and you know what pads are, and they have joysticks, and they have D-pads, and you can use joysticks or D-pads, and you can use the buttons. Words.
When we say pad, we're talking about just like a traditional controller. We'll usually specify.
A pad is a traditional controller.
Yes,
and a pad has either or both of a D-pad and or an analog stick on it.
Yes.
Some pads only have D-pads. Some controllers only have D-pads. Some have both, and you can use either. Typically, you end up using the D-pad. The directional pad. Yep. Typically, anyway, yeah. Words.
Yes.
Arcade sticks.
You've seen sticks.
Them. They have big buttons and a big stick, and you use your hand on the right and you hit
usually on
6 to 8 buttons.
Yeah, 6 to 8 buttons on the right hand side for your right hand. The stick is on the left hand side. In years past, most American cabinets use an octagonal gate, which is to say that it is easy to find each of the.
They use circle gates.
Circle gates? Oh, that's awful.
It's even worse.
Circle gates
they're both terrible. Most American cabinets are a circle gate, which means they have no gate.
Yes.
We're getting bogged down in the details. Yeah. This isn't important. Stop talking. You're the worst.
Sorry.
You're the worst. It doesn't matter. It looks like the top of an arcade cabinet.
You've seen those.
And it has a stick on the left and 6 to 8 buttons on the right.
Mm-hmm.
What a hitbox is an arcade stick, which is what I just told you about, the top of an arcade cabinet, where it has the 6 to 8 buttons on the right, but in place of the joystick on the left to move up, down, left, and right, it has 4 more buttons that are exactly like the buttons on the right, except those 4 buttons are up, down, left, right. And they are configured such that if you're familiar with PC gaming, if you know WASD space controls, the left side of a hitbox is configured like ASD spacebar.
Such that you can press the spacebar with your left or right thumb.
Yeah, well, that's not relevant, but yeah. So anyway, a hitbox is a joystick, an arcade stick without a joystick.
And the Hori Fight Pad is kind of like a marriage between an arcade stick and a D-pad. It's got.
I would just call that a controller. You're going to talk about how it has 6 buttons on the right and still 2 shoulder buttons.
That and it's got the D-pad. It's got the stick button layout, but
you don't have. You're talking about using it claw on the right. I think it's just way too granular. It's not even needed. But yeah, you're talking.
No, you're seeing me do that. That's not what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about? You talking about the pad?
Yeah. There are 6 buttons on the right-hand side. You see how I'm doing this, Will?
Yep.
The audience can't.
What?
Yeah.
No. Shut the fuck up. No. You don't win. Because why else would you talk about how it was a marriage between a fight
because
pad?
Because it's got the button layout with the D-pad.
Correct. But, okay. Anyway. No, I win, but I'm going to be the bigger man. Okay, so...
Thank you, Will. Thank you for doing that for me.
There are different options. And you can use different things. It turned out, to my surprise, that the best option for her was the hitbox. And I hadn't thought about that for the first hour because for most people who have some sort of background, and she hasn't never played games, but like,
sure,
it's a lot less. She has a lot less of years and years and years of muscle memory on a particular controller, to where that just seemed easier. Now, to be fair, we were playing a charge character, which I think makes that easier too.
It's easier, on a hitbox.
But that made me really think about like things that we do and don't take for granted when it comes to like teaching new players how to approach fighting games, who especially players who aren't familiar with fighting games already. And that kind of made me think about, and she had asked me like, I don't know, a couple days later, or maybe it was the same day, I don't even fucking remember, but she was like, what about like Grand Blue? And I was like, well, because she's seen me play Grand Blue. And I was like, well, yeah, like on the one hand, Grand Blue is definitely like easier than a lot of fighting games to play. And in certain ways, it is easier to play than Street Fighter 2. But it also is a lot harder and has more knowledge checks at the base level than Street Fighter 2. And so I guess what I'm posing as a question to you and to the stream in general, sound off in the comments. Comment,
and subscribe.
Comment, like, subscribe. Is like, how do you feel about that? Because my posit, here's my bounce off of this. Here's my thought.
Okay.
Here's my traditional thought. Street Fighter 2 is the best game to teach anyone who doesn't know anything about fighting games, because all fighting games are based off of it. We already know that. But also because in addition to teaching you generic fighting game knowledge, such as how kind of like normals and blocking and special moves work, in addition to that, even at the highest level, you're not typically doing a lot more than a 2 or 3 hit combo.
Sure.
In an average interaction. Well, maybe not the highest level, but like high.
But even at the high
levels,
there's a lot of characters who you won't see more than a 2 or 3 hit combo.
There are a few, yes. And this is where I'm going to go to, where I jump off into this. So typically that's what I've always thought. Now, the worst thing about Street Fighter 2, in my opinion, has always been the throw system, because the throw system is really unintuitive and confusing. And thank God they got rid of it in Street Fighter 3 and never looked back. And It's been the same throw system since Street Fighter 3, because the Street Fighter 2 throw system is, I don't know. I hate proximity normals becoming throws. It's stupid. Marvel does it too. I understand there's like...
It's a different relationship, but it is still
reasons it's
stupid.
Better, but it's still dumb. It shouldn't... I just empirically just do not like that throw system. Like the throw system where if you're close and you press a button that isn't a throw, that's throw. I just don't like that. I think it's fucking dumb and it should never be a thing. And so that's like, I thought anyway, the worst thing about Street Fighter 2. But then after I was showing her some things, And we were playing. We were like, she was like getting good at some. She's pretty good, especially considering she has like no fighting game experience. Like, I mean, she is still not a competent player in any respect, but was able to make the transition from like not being able to consistently do special moves to being able to fairly consistently do special moves
and apply them, like seeing how to do it.
Conceptually, she was able to do like Sonic Boom into Crouch Hard Punch, like as an anti-air jump.
That's cool.
So there, yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to oversell. Like, she's got a long way to go, but like it makes a big. I mean, it's a big step. Which is something I always say to new people, which I had also been saying to her. Like, the early steps are much bigger because the early steps is like you have nothing. You have nothing to build on. Nothing makes any fucking sense. It's so much harder. And then like every little tiny thing that you understand makes every other little tiny thing more interesting and more understandable and digestible. And it also alerts you to other tiny things. That it becomes this kind of like positive feedback loop of
which is great. That's
of improvement and understanding. This is why we like fighting games.
Yeah.
To that point, I have always thought that like Grand Blue, even though it's a really easy game, and I would recommend Grand Blue as a number one game to anyone who was at all familiar, like anyone who, like any person who was like casually familiar with fighting games. Like if somebody came up to me and they were like, I have played Street Fighter 2 in the arcade. I don't know tournaments exist. I don't know anything about it, but I understand that like you can. I understand that you can special cancel. I would be like, you should play Grand Blue.
Perfect game for you.
Because it's so easy. But what Grand Blue does do is it does stress more, like there are more button presses. There are more follow-up, like longer combos. And they're all extremely easy, but that sort of like increase in the person's mental stack, I think can make Grand Blue almost impossible to digest for a new person.
Okay.
Until they get used to that kind of basic thing. And the reason that I have gravitated more towards Street Fighter 2 is like if you think about like traditionally like Ryu versus Guile, doing nothing but special moves and anti-airs and two-hit combos is like almost the entire matchup. Whereas in Grand Blue, if you did Grand versus Catalina, which we'll call Ryu versus Guile in Grand Blue, if you don't know how to do like corner combos, if you don't know how to like combo into your ultra, you're going to lose.
Yes.
It's just going to happen. Okay. I've made my statement.
This is the groundwork.
What happened to me a day or two later is I was like, fuck, man, I haven't played Street Fighter 2 online in a really long time. I'm going to get on Fightcade and I'm going to play Street Fighter 2.
Get your ass beat and fucking Afro Cole came to your house and kicked you in the dick.
So what you need to understand is like, I mean, I'm a very good general Street Fighter player. The only Street Fighter game I'm truly good at, well, I was truly good at 5 for a while. I'm not anymore.
Until 5 wasn't the game that you recognized.
5 became a different thing. 5 is so far gone, I don't think I could be. I remember I played it. You convinced me to like enter it at Combo Breaker in 2018. And I fought like
3 years ago.
I fought a Falk and some other fucking character, like DLC characters. And I was like, I don't even know what you do.
I don't know what's happening.
I don't even know. I literally don't even know what you can do, GG. Yeah, like I can't even play because I don't know what you do. If I fought like normal players, it'd probably be better. But yeah, I was very good at 4. But I'm only like generally competent at Street Fighter 2. And Street Fighter 2 online, especially on Fightcade, dude, it's like going on like, I remember in like 2007 or something, being like, I wonder if anybody is still playing like, you know, Quick 3. And like the only people who play it are like the most insane killers who have ever lived. And so I fought a Bison and a Fei Long. And I literally did not beat either of them a single round for over an hour.
Boxer Bison?
No, Dictator.
Dictator? Okay.
I fought a Dictator and Bison. I did not win a single round. And they would do like a move. And here's the thing that I don't understand about... Because yeah, Street Fighter 2 at high level is the game that I think that it is. Street Fighter 2 at the highest level... I think it's not the game that I think that it is. Because they were hitting me with, dude, this fucking Fei Long would do like chicken wing. And it would be like, hit 1 chicken wing, hit 2 chicken wing. And then he would land. And every single time he would do like jab or hard punch into all 3 hits of a Rekka. And do like a 6-hit combo that insta-stunned me. And then I'd be like, well, I'm stunned. That really sucks. But he's not going to do that combo again. And then he would do the combo again and I would die. The Bison player would do like jump, cross up, fucking like medium into light into a scissor, and it would stun me. And then he'd do that again, and I would just die. And I'm like, how? Okay, How the fuck? I don't understand. I'm really good at fighting games, and I legitimately do not understand how any human being can consistently do a 5-hit combo in Street Fighter 2. You are on
net play.
There's no on net play. No, it's good net play. It's Fightcade.
It's great net play, but
it's Fightcade with rollback. But on net play, no plinking.
Yep.
Every single thing is a 1-frame link, and there is no buffering either. How the fuck are these random dudes I fought for an hour
not
are better?
Just a random.
Are better at that than I've probably ever been at Street Fighter 4.
Do you want the answer? Because it's not the one you want. It's because for those of you who don't know,
what is the answer, Alex?
Street Fighter 2, the game that Will was trying to play with these people, has been out for damn near 30 years. Well, these people have been playing this game for 30 years, and it's not just the machine-like precision that you get from doing the same thing over and over again. It's from having played this thing and becoming so intimately familiar with it in a way that you can only do by playing a game for 30 years.
Yep.
That's the problem that you had.
And in there, so I to be honest with you, I, as like a masochist who appreciates people who are good at things, like we have gone over for the last hour of this podcast, I really appreciate that. It's cool. Mm-hmm. They're also super friendly, dude. I remember being like, oh man, it's so hard to share with you. It's so hard to do reversals in this game. And the Fei Long was like, yeah, it is. And then just wrecked me to death.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, and they're like, GG's, whatever. Like, it's totally cool. And like, and I don't mind getting my ass beat, but like the way you get your ass beat in Street Fighter 2 is just in a way that like makes you feel so like I have felt helpless in a lot of games, but like when you get your ass beat in Street Fighter 2, it's just like, because you want like, at least for me, like when I look at it compared to like Street Fighter 4, I'm like, oh yeah, I can kind of play a shitty pseudo Street Fighter 4 style game in Street Fighter 2, which is how a lot of Street Fighter 2 is. And were I good enough to like do things to deter people, that would be kind of what the neutral would end up looking like. But fuck, dude, if you're not good enough to force someone to have that respect in that game, they can just do, and it's crazy because there's so much damage. There's so much stun. You die in like 2 interactions. So my point is, and then I don't think anyone could convince me that Street Fighter 2 isn't one of the best games to show someone when they're new. I don't think I could be swayed from that, but like the fact that the high level is that definitely makes me like reconsider a little bit about it compared to Grand Blue, because while Grand Blue is way more stressful in a lot of ways because to a new player, because Grand Blue asks more of the player.
Yes, it asks that you do full combos. It gives you more tools to use.
It asks you to be more familiar with more options and to understand more situations.
Yes.
Like, unquestionably.
You'll be in more unique situations in Grand Blue and that's just a factor of the game coming out 30 years later.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
That's
not the only factor. It is certainly a factor. But even given that, all of the situations you're in Grand Blue are so much. The hardest combo in Grand Blue is like, it's only hard because of the sequence. It's only hard because you have to familiarize yourself with the order. Yeah. It's just memory. But the combos in Street Fighter 2 are not.
You must have machine-like precision.
The memory is easy. It's only 4
5
moves.
buttons. Yeah.
but if you don't
press them at the 1/30th of a second.
Also the fact that you have to do like doing reversals with machine-like precision.
Yep.
So anyway, I guess now, 3 hours later, my question to you and our audience is, how do you feel about that? Do you think Street Fighter 2, because of the simplicity of the strategy, is still one of the best games? Do you think a game like Grand Blue is better? Do you have other games you think? If you say Skullgirls, I'm canceling this podcast.
Wow.
And I'll never speak to you again.
I wouldn't say Skullgirls unless you just like titties.
You know what? That's really fair. I can't. Although Grand Blue's pretty fucking good for titties too. Let's be real.
Let me start with an anecdote. You remember Truth God, the wizard?
Yep.
I was playing Marvel. There was a Street Fighter tournament going on, and I was just grinding Marvel because I got knocked out of the tournament. I was mad or whatever. And Truth God came over and he sat down. And he was like, "Hey, man, I see you're in training mode. Do you mind if I play with you?" And I was like, "No, sure. That sounds good."
What a gentleman.
Me or him?
Truth God.
Yeah, he's
Not
so
you.
good.
I'm
an asshole. Yeah. Not a fucking asshole, though. I don't meet enough of the criteria. So I played with him, and he played like some Devil May Cry team, which is to say like an upper mid. I'm getting beside the point. His neutral was okay. He could do combos that weren't optimal. So this is all.
He had
to
done
say,
some labbing.
Yeah, he was familiar with the game.
Yes.
And out of respect, I played my main team against him, and my main team functions such that. Based on a bunch of stuff that I won't go into because that's the point I'm making. If I touch you once, I take your controller out of your hand and you just sit there until you lose.
I think you have more succinctly described why I hate the games that you like than I ever could, which is that it completely if you work out enough, if you lift enough weights, then I don't get to play the game unless I lift enough weights as you.
Yes.
As many weights as you do.
Yes.
And that, to my previous analogy about the other shit.
Sure.
That is why I hate those games.
That's
because
fine.
it's more
you must
about
be this
it's more about that
to ride the ride.
Yes. Yeah. It's more about a knowledge check than it is about an interaction.
Yes. That is the point that I'm working towards.
It's not to say that there are no interactions in Marvel.
Because there are several.
Fucking hold on to your butts. Fucking butthurt Marvel people.
But I think objectively there are less. Like, that is the way the games are made. They are designed to be more about knowledge checks than they are about interplayer interactions.
And part of that is just because there's so many different moving parts in Marvel, and part of it is because it was a deliberate design choice that they made. That's the game that they wanted.
Yeah, it's both. They could have not made that design choice. That's, again, you're doing it again.
Thank you
for explaining everything I hate.
Yeah.
Not only is it already that way, because there are more moving parts, more characters, more things. In addition to that, they also wanted it to be as much that as they could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I agree with everything you're saying.
So I clowned on him is the point. I took the controller away from him, and then I was like, well, this isn't fun, and he's not, an expert player, so let me play a bad team. So I played Hulk, Phoenix Wright, Hagar, which is a deceptively high-tier team, again, beside the point. His neutral was more effective because he was zoning me with Trish, and this is all just a concept that anyone who has played a fighting game could look at and see what he's doing, even though he wasn't like the best Marvel player of all time. They could see that he was using projectiles to keep me from getting in with my big body.
Yes.
And then I made him block something, and then I DHC'd into Phoenix Wright, and then the DHC, Steel Samurai Smelting, the last hit is a low, and I used Phoenix Wright's overhead at the same time, and you can't block high and low at the same time.
Unblockable.
Which was unblockable. And he blocked in the beginning of this. He was right. He played neutral correctly. He guessed right, and he blocked it. But because I inflicted this knowledge check on him, he was like, oh shit, I got hit. What happened? He turned to me and he said, what happened?
Why did I get hit?
Yeah. And I was like, you did everything right, but there was nothing that you could have done in this situation.
God, I fucking hate Marvel.
And he was like, oh, cool. Because he's Truth God and he was really nice. So suffice it to say that despite him having, I think if he played Marvel, he would definitely have better neutral. If he sat down and grinded Marvel like today or at the start of the pandemic, it's fair to say he might have better neutral than I have, even though I've been playing the game for literally 10, 11 years.
Yep.
But since he doesn't have that depth of knowledge that I have, I will take the controller away from him, and it doesn't matter that he's better at neutral than me, which you don't like. But to get back to your original question about like what is it that you're trying to introduce them to?
What games do you think fit that?
It's games without a lot of moving parts, because a game with a bunch of moving parts or a game that has been around for in excess of 10 years.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Are you thinking about Samurai Showdown?
Games with a bunch of moving parts that take a lot of knowledge in order to understand. It's not going to work.
Dude, I said in the Pits of Salt when we were playing doubles with me and Hylian and you and Raichu.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a game, we had been doing like singles in between the doubles. We did a lot of doubles. And
out loud, which is somewhat uncharacteristic of me, out loud under my breath, but definitely not for everyone here. I was like, I am so fucking tired of losing to knowledge checks.
Yeah.
Verbatim, that is what I said.
Because Raichu plays weird characters.
And I can't even take anything away from like Raichu is just like a better player than I am at this time of existence. Yep. And there's no argument to that. But the reason it frustrated me was not because I lost. Mm-hmm. It was because of how close the matches were with every character that wasn't Pac-Man.
You were going toe-to-toe with neutral and losing for something that you couldn't correct in the moment. You can't adjust for a knowledge check.
I hate that so much. And I do understand that is, you want to have that in a game because you do want mass appeal. And so you're not going to have, if you had a game that was only the kind of things that I liked, it would have a lot of appeal, but it will always have more appeal if you get a little weird character. Like,
you need a little bit of weirdness.
Stupid Sea Viper.
Yeah.
Stupid fucking El Fuerte.
Jury Fuerte.
Whatever the fuck. Yeah. Jury makes sense. She's weird, but
that's what I'm saying. She has a little bit of variety.
One of the good ones, Alex.
Oh, excuse me.
But you do need some of that, and Pac-Man and Mega Man, every fucking character that's weird like that in that game, they've got it. But it is just so frustrating to see how you can be close to somebody, and that truly the only reason that you're having that issue is that you just don't understand what's happening, and that is so infuriating to me. It is one of the most I'm a fucking bombast, fucking yelly asshole, but I can get into fighting game Zen mode pretty good in a lot of ways.
Achieve flow.
But the one thing that fucking breaks me is a Steve player. because you're not
playing
doing
the game. We're not doing the thing.
You're just doing something else. And so that shit drives me fucking bonkers, man. And
those are the only type of characters that I like, and if a game didn't have a weird character, I wouldn't play it.
Yeah. What are you?
I know.
So okay. So hang on. So to finish that, do you think there are are we just saying Samurai Showdown, or is there or
ultimately
is it
still, a game
I
like
still
Samurai
think Street
Showdown.
Fighter 2. You think Samurai Showdown is better than Street Fighter 2?
Let me say yes, and let me show my work. In the first place, in order to figure out what the right game is to play, you have to interrogate why you're introducing people to this fighting game thing in the first place. Is it so that they have a better understanding of fighting games? Is it so that they can latch onto something that they like, something weirder than just Street Fighter 2, which is to say almost every fighting game? What's your end goal when you're trying to expose these people to
in this experience, what I'm talking about is just exposing anyone who is not familiar with fighting games to fighting games and giving them a foothold of any kind. I would say to use, since he's been coming up, to use Raichu as an example, I did exactly what I said as part of this, to where he did have some generic understanding of fighting games. And I showed him, if you remember, Granblue.
Yeah.
And I was like, this will be the easiest thing.
Are you talking
Raichu?
You did that with Raichu? I remember you did it with Jordan.
He came to third rail with us.
Oh, no, you're right. I wasn't there, but
I did it.
You're right.
No, you were there with us.
No,
yes,
I was never third rail with you.
What are you talking about?
I have never entered a third rail tournament.
Alex, you were there. You drank the coconut beer with me.
I don't remember a coconut beer.
Chris Beether's
I remember Chris.
Bar.
Yeah.
You went to that with me.
I've never been to third rail with you.
No.
I went to third rail once. It was when I had my
you
eye
went there
problem.
With me and Jordan and Raichu.
No, I went to Wash U with you and Jordan, and Raichu was there, but I didn't go with him per se.
Alex, no, because I played Steve and he played Lancelot, and you were there, and you were. Am I insane?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm insane. I think you're insane.
No.
Sound off in the comments, people.
Like, comment, subscribe. No,
Anyway,
yeah.
Raichu was at one of those, and I showed him some shit, and he was just like, I feel like I don't ever understand anything because people just do stuff. I don't know when it's my turn. And I was like, no, this game is going to be really easy for you to understand because you have a basic fighting game fundamental understanding, and Granblue was that thing, and he did understand it. And it was the same for Jordan. You're right. It was the same thing where it was like, this will actually be easy. And if you remember when we played Street Fighter 4 again, Jordan got immensely better at Street Fighter 4.
After having played Granblue for 20 minutes. Yeah.
So the goal is similar to that, but with somebody who has no fundamental understanding of fighting games whatsoever. So, what game do you give them, and is it still Street Fighter 2?
I'll be belligerent and say Samurai Showdown. The goal should be, when you're introducing these people, is to show them that there is a grind that they could get into, because you want that positive feedback loop. So you need something that is simple enough that it's easy to gain traction for that positive feedback loop, but something still there if they want to be able to dig. Because I, as a player, would not be able to dig sufficiently deep in Street Fighter 2 or a simple enough game like Street Fighter 2 is at surface level.
But you're saying that like you need to allow them, like you're saying that if the mountain is too steep, they won't even climb it.
If the mountain is too steep, they won't climb it. Marvel is too steep a mountain to climb.
Okay, we're in agreement so far. Go on.
The mountain can't be it can't be Kansas. You can't be in Kansas, because if there's no climb, like if you're
I don't think there is a
too
fighting game that
simplistic-
is Kansas.
I'm with you there.
To people like that.
Unless you did like...
That's a completely pointless thing to even say, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, right?
Okay.
Because there isn't... Yeah.
A dive kick?
Even dive kick, I think
There's
to be
dive
honest
and
with you, as soon as you mentioned it, I was like,
Yeah.
maybe I should fuck around with dive
You
kick.
should
Like,
probably
legitimately.
fuck around with dive kick. I do think that would be good.
Try
I don't know
dive
if it's
kick?
the best.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I don't know we need to come to a specific answer, but like,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
the question is
But like,
interesting.
Samurai Showdown has huge damage. It has highs and lows, and it has cross-ups. But importantly, it has really big damage. So when you hit somebody with a 2-hit combo, you're hitting them for like a third of their health or more a lot of the time.
It also has very little true pressure,
Yes.
which I think is important. It's a lot like, it's actually a lot. If I could
Smash.
Smash Brawl. If I could
Okay.
explain what it's like to play Super Smash Bros. Brawl to a fighting game player, the more I think about it, it's like Sam Show.
Mhm.
Because there is almost no real pressure in the game.
It's largely footsies.
Anytime you
Almost
hit someone,
exclusively.
you're negative.
Yeah.
Almost anytime. Not always, but almost always.
Mhm.
Yeah, same deal.
So, and that's another thing. Like you do get that negative feedback, which is helpful in this instance. If you throw out a haymaker and they block it, then your sword tinks off of their sword,
Yeah.
and you're in recovery. You know very easily and very simply that what you've done is wrong because they guessed right.
Why did Sam Show and Grand Blue have to die because of COVID, Alex?
COVID killed them.
Why
That's
did they have to die because of
It's
COVID?
honestly,
Those are such good games.
if I was gonna. 2020 was hypothetically a great time to just start becoming a fighting game player.
Yeah.
Hypothetically,
If
because
not-
obviously it didn't work.
It didn't work because of COVID. See, no, we tried to have a real conversation and we just got depressed because of COVID again.
No, it's
Here we are. But no, I mean, it's totally legitimate.
it's still. I mean, it's 2022, but like, it still you could play Samurai Showdown. The net play sucks, but like, I don't know,
net play
fuck
does
around
suck.
with it. Like, you've got 2 people in your bubble. You could play Samurai Showdown. Samurai Showdown is really good. Grand Blue Fantasy, I think, is more. Well, not I think. It's definitely more complicated than Samurai Showdown.
Unquestionably.
There's more moving parts. I don't think that it's insurmountable. I do not think that is too steep a mountain. I do think a game like Marvel is unapproachable. I think it's a lot of fun, and there's a great deal of spectacle with all the flashing lights and memorable characters that you love from the Marvel. Unless you're weird like me, that's not enough. If you're trying to, and the majority of people I don't think are weird enough to just say, "Oh shit, look at that." For me,
it takes a special kind of somebody to want to play those fucking team fighters. I'm sorry. It is.
I need that stimulation.
It is. Yeah. That's like deep crack. It's grandma porn, dude. Like you get so far down the rabbit hole.
You don't even know what's happening anymore. You don't recognize.
If it's
your
not a
penis.
grandma, then you
Yeah.
can't get off.
I think that there is a place for games like that because Marvel Superheroes came out in like 1996. That was my gateway drug. Playing that and seeing Iron Man. I played with my cousin and he did Flight with Iron Man and flew away from me. And I was like, damn, that is the coolest. Ryan, what did you do? And he was like,
isn't that one of the coolest things about like what early fighting game is when you don't understand how someone did a thing or you didn't even know it could happen.
Yeah.
And you both are like discovering it in the moment. Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I did down, down, back, back. I did down to back, and then I pressed X. He didn't even tell me it was light punch or whatever.
Dude, I remember writing down all the Mortal Kombat moves.
Yep.
In Mortal Kombat 2. I wrote them all down in a book because they weren't listed anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I just pressed shit.
And you did it until you got to experiment. That was you labbing, Will.
Oh, yeah.
You were a lab monster in
I labbed the
UMK3.
shit. Mortal Kombat 2, I labbed the shit out of that game. I discovered every single like fatality and special move.
I did
one
that
by
same thing in
one
Eternal
per
Champions.
character. Insane.
Yeah. So I think that it doesn't have to be Marvel, but a game should have that depth that compels you or suggests to you that you should experiment in order to find out everything.
Do you think then, though, like that there is any fighting game that for somebody who has never played a fighting game wouldn't have that depth? Because I don't think there is. I don't think even the shittiest fighting game is not deeper than anything that anyone who's never played a fighting game has ever played. Well, like literally, like you could be any. Okay, like, what could I? Okay, maybe if you were a competitive level RTS player,
Flash
or something, like okay, fine. But like if you're telling me like you pluck like a normal generic gamer who is familiar with every genre other than like fighting games. There's no way even the simplest fighting game is not. Again, RTSs would be the only one that I would even get
maybe
remotely.
Maybe I've got just a blind spot to it because because I'm weird. But like I played Street Fighter 2 and that I enjoyed it, but it didn't draw me in like Marvel did. Marvel superheroes.
Well, you already knew how to play fighting games.
No. In 1996, when I was 6 years old.
Yeah, because you had already played the Marvel game with your cousin. You fucking filthy, disgusting Marvel.
But that's
player.
what I'm saying.
I'm saying you got addicted to crack at an earlier age.
You get them while they're young.
That's what I'm saying. You had already had the hit of crack. Are you telling me? Okay, I will rescind my entire argument if you tell me you played Street Fighter 2
first.
Yes.
Yeah, I played it first.
You played it first.
I played it
before. You just didn't find
I,
anything interesting in it.
I enjoyed it, and I got
I
into
lied.
Honda.
I can't take my argument back. What the fuck is wrong with you? How is that possible?
I needed to see fucking Spider-Man flipping around. I needed Tony Stark to be flying. Flying, I think, might have been the biggest drug for me for getting into fighting games. Seeing my cousin fly and then having to figure out how to do it.
You did like a flash kick and you didn't think it was cool? You threw a sonic boom and you didn't think that was cool?
I played Honda. I couldn't do any of the input moves. So I had to play Honda because he had charge inputs and mash button to get jabbed into hands. So,
well, that explains a lot in more ways than one. Anyway, I think it's still Street Fighter 2, but I think, better arguments for other games.
Yeah.
Sam Show and Granblue is still good.
I want to play, what's the Serlin game? I know
I've never
Serlin's
played it.
a dick. Fantasy Strike.
Fantasy Strike.
I want to play Fantasy Strike. I
don't
want to
even
see
care
if
that
that's
he's a
good
dick,
for
dude.
it.
Fucking Playing to Win is still a sick book. I haven't read that in a long time. I need to reread it. I'm sure it's Serlin is a dick the way like Neil deGrasse Tyson is a dick. I still love Neil deGrasse Tyson. I understand that he has made some weird tweets at times.
Did you know that?
But the percentage of tweets he has made that are dumb is so small compared to the percentage of things that he has said that are awesome and profound and cool and thought-provoking.
If you get a
that
chance,
I just don't care. Neil deGrasse Tyson is cool as fuck. How could you not think he was cool?
Look up Neil deGrasse Tyson kissing mirrors. He has made no less than like 10 tweets about if you kiss a mirror, you can only kiss yourself on the lips. I know what you're talking about because it's like it's like a bunch of where like he retweets it and it
is I get it. I really do understand the memes people do about him, but like I just don't care. I think he's so fucking awesome.
That's fine.
He's one of my favorite humans who's ever existed, and I don't care. There's so many things about him that are cool and great, and like he's definitely cringe.
Quite cringe.
Yeah. He's definitely cringe at times, but like I just don't care. I don't care. He's fucking awesome. Anyway, is that the podcast?
It's just about a podcast. Let's finalize. What would you say are like good games to introduce, and then we could call it.
I mean, it's still got to be Street Fighter 2, right? I think Street Fighter 4 is good.
Street Fighter 4 is good.
Street Fighter 4 is
for someone with modern sensibilities.
It's marginally less good than like Granblue for a new player, but it's still really good.
Yeah.
Honestly, Street Fighter 5, I have to admit, is a pretty good beginner game, and I hate it.
You get a lot of feedback, a lot of positive reinforcement real fast from it.
Yeah. As much as I hate about the design choices in 5, for a new player, there is, it is a much more digestible game than some games.
Street Fighter Third Strike. Not very digestible at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it's if you have no understanding at all of how Street Fighter works,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to play a character that isn't a zoner,
Mm-hmm.
Street Fighter V is probably better than Street Fighter 4 for a new player to understand the game. But that's super weighted on not wanting to play a zoner. Because the problem with 5, as we already know,
zoning is fake. You've never
we don't
seen
need to
it.
go on for 3 hours. But like, if you did want to zone, you would learn, quote unquote, that you can't in 5.
Which is an interesting lesson to learn from that game very quickly. I think if you wanted to get into team fighters like Marvel, if you want crack, your best bet is to get started.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, what's the best crack hit? First crack hit.
Street Fighter Cross Tekken, actually. SFXT or Marvel Infinite, but not to the same degree. Marvel Infinite is harder to
Cross
parse.
Tekken, yeah. Infinite is harder. Cross Tekken probably is the best team fighter.
You don't have traditional assists like in team fighters. You press a button, a character comes out and does a thing. But Street Fighter Cross Tekken teaches the concept of an assist because you do a move like Chun-Li lightning legs and then tag to your other character, and that will teach you how to use an assist.
It's a surprisingly good gateway drug for shit like that. I agree. That's another game that could have been good that got fucked. Not by COVID though, just by
that was
dumb
Capcom's fault.
Well, we've learned that what we already thought was right, but the important thing is that we discussed it.
We did.
Anyway, I've been MetalMusicMan.
I've been Professor Lex.
And we will catch you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye.